What's up, world? It's the Javelin Breakdown, bringing you episode 9 of the Javelin Breakdown show, as always brought to you by Spearworks. We'll be talking later about a huge throw set with a Raptor Javelin by Walker Dede, and I'm excited to start seeing more Ghost Javelin throws from youth athletes. I know my neighbors are really excited to compete with the Ghost Javelins at some local meets in our area, and so, between the Raptor and the Ghost Javelins, just incredible things being done with Spearworks products. But soon the Viper coming in as well, the customizable carbon javelin, customizable to the nines. I've talked about this before. The customization of a carbon javelin is unheard of. And so if you want to customize a javelin, a load of carbon, you got to buy it and then you got to find somebody else to do the work. And so the fact that from Spearworks, straight from the manufacturer, you're going to be able to dial everything in the way you want it, and you're going to be saving money, and you're not going to be compromising on the quality. It's just unheard of. And when that javelin comes to you, it will be serial numbered. It will have been inspected over a dozen different tests, making sure it falls within the parameters set by World Athletics. And so your javelin is going to pass inspection. And so I've already heard a bunch of stories this year of brand new javelins from the name brand companies failing upon arrival. It's really unfortunate. And with Spearworks, that's one of the things that they take a lot of pride in, is their quality control process for making sure that javelins sent out are ready to pass, ready to throw right away. And so you can trust in Spearworks. And so a big thanks to them for sponsoring this episode of the show. Let's get started.
Yeah! Let's go! Come on! Let's go! Yeah!
So let's start the show talking about Mike Stein, going absolutely huge down in Arizona, producing a lifetime best in round 6 of 75.59, and really just a whole series incredible, starting at 63 and adjusting, going over 70 meters on all 3 of his final attempts, just incredible. And so he came into Iowa with a PR somewhere in the 190s, and he's throwing in Iowa where javelin's not official, as a high schooler. That's really impressive, not having any kind of organization around a sport and to be producing national caliber numbers. But, as a college freshman, what kind of expectations do you have? Well, with Mike being just committed in every aspect of his life, I picked him as my dark horse for this season because I'm like, this kid is just working so hard. He's dialed in all the right ways. He's working with a number of really knowledgeable people. And so he's got every resource at his fingertips. Big things can happen when you give yourself, that kind of, when you take advantage, I should say, of these opportunities like he is. And so 75.59, just incredible. So I reached out to Mike and asked him a couple questions. So I'm going to read the things he told me about his experience this weekend in Arizona. So I asked about his training from last week going into the meet at Arizona. He said, I worked really hard on increasing my crossover frequency, staying tall through the release. I did some 9-step crossover variations, and he said those were pretty tough. And then he took some time off of really the hard throws. So leading into Arizona, he'd be fresh. He did some light picks on Wednesday, and otherwise just a ton of approach work and visualization. In terms of throwing at Arizona, I said, hey, you knew going into this meet that this place has had huge throws. It's got a reputation. So he said it was super cool throwing under the lights. I was watching videos of people throwing there leading up to the meet, so it was an honor to throw at Arizona. In terms of meet strategy, he said, super relaxed, worked on staying tall through the release in warm-ups. My first throw, I just missed it and the timing was off and I collapsed a little bit with my chest. Second throw was 68 and did a little bit better. Third throw, did the same thing with a little more intent. And then going into finals, I felt like my 3 throws were about 75% of my approach speed. So I added 5 to 10% speed with each throw. And his teammates gave him some advice about just let's bring the point down 2 or 3 degrees. And so between adjusting that angle and bringing more speed, 73 something, and then boom, 75.59. So again, a huge congratulations to Mike, the staff at Iowa, Javelin Anatomy, Kevin, Bill Miller, really just a ton of Scott Fuchs, just a bunch of people have come together to be part of Mike's journey and will continue. And so it's just so cool to see this. And again, this is just one of the things I love about this community, is how much people want to help each other, how much people want to cheer one another along. And the fact that Mike is just taking advantage of this opportunity and running with it, we're starting to see some huge things from him. And this is just the beginning. So very excited for Mike. A big congratulations. Your defending champion, Mark Minicello, went over 75 meters this weekend as well at LSU. Unfortunately, it sounds like conditions were a little tricky. I saw that the pole vault got moved inside, but looks like Georgia went there to pre-meet because the conference championship is going to be at LSU, so a quality throw for Mark, especially given that it wasn't the most ideal conditions to compete in. Even worse conditions this weekend. I'm sure everyone knows that Penn Relays was just a wash from a weather standpoint, but I want to give credit where credit's due to the athletes that were able to compete well anyways. So Ethan Coco of Clemson won the college division of the men's javelin with 61-22. James Kotowaski goes 70-42 to win the championship division of men's javelin. So, that's a tough field that he had. Keyshawn Strawn and a number of others didn't compete, but James still faced a quality field and came out with the win. On the women's side of Division I, Caitlin Fairchild takes the biggest throw of the weekend with 55-97 to win in Arizona. Ariane Moraes goes 53-82 for second. And Liana Davidson, Caitlin's teammate, goes 52-76 for third. So quality throwing on both the men's and women's side of the competition down in Arizona. And a credit to Caitlin for a PR, another big throw from the Texas A&M women. And in fourth, Elizabeth Korzak PRs with 49-30. And so she throws for Iowa. And so both her and Mike producing personal bests in Arizona. Congratulations, Elizabeth. Congratulations to Mirta Kulisic, another PR, 53-80 to take second at Drake Relays behind coach Maggie Harden-Malone. So we'll talk about Maggie's throw later, but Mirta, 53-80, another PR, and this helps move up the average for the Nebraska women. So Missouri still holds the top spot in the USTF-CCCA rankings with an average of 54-84, if I have that right. And now Nebraska's average is 54-26, I believe, and so it's inching up. And so that fight, for the bragging rights continues between two very quality teams. And Texas A&M would be in third with a 49-meter average, but Missouri and Nebraska by far, 5 meters clear of the rest of the field in terms of the averages there. And so credit to Mirta with the PR helping move the needle for the Nebraska women. Jumping back to Penn Relays, talking about Penn Relays for the women, Audrey Friedman takes second, sandwiched between Aliana and Olivia from Rutgers. And so Penn State, Rutgers, Big Ten dominating the monsoon-like conditions at Penn Relays for the women. On Saturday, a little bit better weather. Leonie Troger nearly matches her personal best, goes 53-14. She represents Cincinnati. She wins the championship division, so congratulations there, beating a quality field. Let's talk about my 3 favorite things about the Spearworks Ghost Javelin. Number 1, the weight. So at 450 grams, it's not as stiff as the 800 or 600 gram Javelin. And so with that, I'm able to take more throws in my session to work on my technique. And so that's just a big help on my body to be able to alternate between the 800 or other Javelins I have and the Ghost Javelin to, again, just get more reps in a session. Number 2 is that this javelin is very sensitive to technical flaws, and so if you don't hit it through the point, it's not going to fly as far, but when you do, it flies very far. It's very satisfying. So it's a great tool for humbling yourself and being like, hey, you're not really hitting it through the point, so it's not going to go the distance, or you're really hitting it and it'll go really far. So it's a great tool in that capacity. And thirdly, it's customizable. With that customization, there's a number of color options for the javelin, a number of color options for the cord, laser engraving on the point, and so there's a ton of combinations. It's really awesome. So between all that, highly recommend you check out the Ghost Javelin, which is link in the description. Check it out. The other big news in NCAA throwing from this weekend is from Division III. Specifically, Will Lawrence goes 69 meters 85 to overtake Greg Peloso for the number 1 spot in Division III. So a really deep list already in Division III at this point this season. Congrats, Will, on the big throw. Now touching on the high school competition for Penn Relays, congratulations to Gabriel Lim of Jamaica, producing 61 meters 24 to beat a number of really, really strong throwers from the Javelin Factory, Central Pennsylvania, Central and East Pennsylvania. So Barry's crew of guys made finals, but Gabriel took the win, 61-24, so credit to him. Credit to Barry, John, and their crew for an excellent performance, though, getting all their guys into finals. And then on the women's side, Julia Magliaro goes from 5th to 1st place in round 5 with a monster throw, 50-18. That's over 160 feet. So jumping from 5th to 1st to win the ladies field high school Penn Relays. Congratulations, Julia. Now we're talking professionals. Haruka Kitaguchi overtakes Tatiana Kaladovic for the world-leading spot on the women's side with a big throw, 64 meters 50 in significant rain. So congratulations to her for the big throw, world-leading throw. Coming off of a tremendous year with a world championship medal, I'm sure she's looking to build off that, and she starts off very strongly with 64.50. Maggie Harden-Malone, as I said earlier, won Drake Relays, 58.84 for her season opener, and a number of other throws over 55 meters. And so Maggie has struggled with a number of injuries over the last couple of years, so I hope that she is moving towards being as healthy as she can be to produce the best throwing she can later on this year when it really counts. And so 58.84 to open her season is exciting. So now let's preview men's javelin. We got the Doha Diamond League coming up this Friday, and so this start list is just absurd. 6 of the 10 men on this list were in the top 10 rankings as of the end of last season, and so everybody here is a serious gamer. Doha has a history of huge throws, and everybody on this list that I've seen clips of from a training standpoint looks to be in pretty decent shape, and some of them have already opened their season and done really well. You know, Jacob has the world lead with 88 plus meters. Given the history of Doha and the form that some of these guys are in, I'm going to guess somebody's going to throw over 90 meters, you know, even for an early season meet. Somebody, given the quality of this field, somebody is going to go absolutely huge. And that happens because you come into the season and hopefully, you know, these professionals, you think they're experienced, you know, they're not going to put too much pressure on themselves. They're going to be able to relax a little bit. It's Doha. It's a quality environment. You know, it's early. Like sometimes there's just like magical throws that happen early in the year, you know, and then throughout the season, you're starting to try to tinker with things to bring it back. You know, Taro Pikamaki opened his season a number of years ago with an 88-meter throw, you know, pretty late in his career. And it was like, whoa, that's huge. And, you know, so sometimes early meets, you surprise yourself. So thinking about who's in this field, you know, Neeraj and Anderson Peters have been absurdly consistent. You know, they've met 10 times since their first competition against each other in 2016. Neeraj has won 6. Anderson's won 4. He won the last 2 meetings in 2022. Neeraj won the first 2 meetings in 2022, and so between the two of them, you'd think on paper that they're the biggest names, but ultimately anybody in this field is a potential winner, a potential person for a really big throw. You know, Jacob has the world-leading throw. With an exception of 2 or 3 of these athletes, everybody here has thrown over 85 meters multiple times and has a huge personal best, and so given Doha, given the history, we'll see what happens, but I'm calling it. I think there's going to be a 90-meter throw from at least one athlete. So that concludes my preview of Doha. We're going to see 90 meters. Calling it. Time for throws from the people. So first off, we got a throw from Daniel. Personal best, 146 feet. Congratulations, Daniel. It's been so cool all season to be getting videos from so many of you and seeing the progress. In particular, I've seen some great stuff from Daniel, working hard. So 146 feet, congratulations. Now another personal best, this time from Dominic Hanko, 53 meters 29. Another athlete that I've seen a lot of videos from over the last year, and so continuing to just make great strides. So congratulations, Dominic, on the personal best. Walker Deed, I told you that there was going to be a big throw talked about on the show with a Spearworks Javelin, and so Walker goes 207 feet 1 inch with the Raptor Javelin, which he purchased last year, which tells you that that Javelin from last year till now has been legal, and that's because of the quality control that the Raptor Javelins undergo in production and before delivery. These Javelins are built to last, built to throw far, and Walker gets it done. 207 feet with the Raptor. Well done. Thanks for sharing. And finally, congratulations to Lewis Forrester, personal best 57.56. Another athlete I've seen a lot of great videos from over the last year or so, and he's chasing 60 meters. I know for a lot of throwers, 60 meters or 200 feet is a really big barrier, and so Lewis chasing 60. We're pulling for you, man, and you're going to get it soon. Again, really appreciate everybody sharing the throws for this section of the show. It's just so great to be able to see what everyone's doing, and I want to continue that for as long as the season allows us. So keep sending me throws, keep sending me your progress. I love staying up to date with everyone in the community. As always, a big thank you to Spearworks for sponsoring the show, guys. I've talked about them at length, and I will continue to, because I will stand by a company that is by javelin throwers, for javelin throwers, building tremendous products, representing the community well. That's how we do it here, the Javelin Breakdown, and that's how they do it at Spearworks. So a big thank you to them for sponsoring this episode of the show. As always, guys, remember to enjoy the journey. And, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Want to share, be a little honest with y'all. So I competed this weekend and was close to a really big throw. I thought I was doing a lot of things close to what I was looking for, but unfortunately on my final throw, heard something pop in my inner right leg. And so not sure what it is, going to get it looked at. It's most likely some kind of strain or tear to the muscles in the hip flexor groin region. I'm not entirely sure, so I'll keep you all up to date. But this pretty much is most likely going to end my season for the next couple months, and so it's going to be quite the rebuilding process for me. But I got to remember to enjoy the journey, and it's not just the competitions, it's not just getting to throw, but it's the opportunity to be part of this sport, part of this community, and I'm going to be leaning on interacting with all y'all and your journeys. And so, for me, it's a pause, it's a shift of gears as I diagnose what's going on with this, which is unfortunate and frustrating, but at the same time, but I know for me, throwing isn't my whole identity. And if you want to know more about that, you can watch the Who Am I video to learn more. But, enjoy the journey, guys. And so for me, the next couple of months, hopefully figuring out what's going on, rehabbing, and enjoying that part of the journey, as frustrating and as gutting as it is to have worked hard and thought, man, this will be the season I get a PR and produce post-collegiately. But that's okay. I'm going to enjoy the journey, and I hope you will too.